What's this thing called?
Recent Tartarians. 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 Recent Tartarians.
All right, and welcome to the first live stream on the Recent Tartarians channel. I thought the song was appropriate because it was our first original theme song, and it was really an earworm that kind of stuck with us when we first heard it, and pretty cool that Jason Page sang it, so shout out there. I'd like to welcome my first guest on tonight's show, Julia, and are you going by your last name?
Yes. Julia Galasso.
Galasso. I want to say right, Galasso. And she is kind of I'd say nutrition expert, researcher. Also, has I don't know. Why can you tell everybody kind of your background a little bit about yourself?
I'm a remote viewer, and getting into how having to develop like the visions and tapping into that. I had to really have like a violent wake up call of like what to ingest and how that affects that. So I really dove down that rabbit hole of having to see what works for me, new habits to implement, because it affects how I operate and do that. So that's how I've discovered a lot of information about this, and I want to help other people because we need to know how to thrive. It's like we've all forgotten how to thrive, and we need to remember.
And you notice a big difference when you change diet and your just ability, your clarity. And I know a lot of people, it would start with like detox because there's fluoride. There's a lot of things that are just happening to our bodies from environment, whether you are having to bathe in fluoridated water or drinking it, but also geoengineering and whatnot, and just what we eat. So there's a lot of things that are getting into our system and into our gut and affecting our gut health that Julia has tried out and experienced the benefits of. So it's nice to have someone that's done the research and then also done what the research has said and experiment on yourself essentially, and can share how it's impacted your body and your life. And that's really kind of a good start with like this whole Recent Tartarians theme of getting people that are rediscovering ancient tech, learning about the best things to eat from possibly, I don't know how back some of the evidence goes that you have that this is healthy to do. I'm sure we'll dive into that more as we discuss it. But it was fitting for Thanksgiving to talk about the Thanksgiving purge and what that means. I know Andreas had a show earlier, or was talking earlier, called in somewhere about fasting and how that used to be a day of humiliation. He might come on later to tell the story of the first Thanksgiving and share his knowledge there. But where do you start then if you are someone that's been eating, like I eat organic food, I eat pretty healthy food most of the time, but I eat sugar still. I'll drink iced tea that has organic cane sugar. I'll things that seem to be labeled as healthy and maybe are not as healthy for me from what I'm kind of hearing about sugar in general. So I guess where to start if you're someone that is trying to eat organic and healthy, but now might have been misled.
If you're like a full-blown, meat eater and you're eating gluten still, I recommend for those people to, start with an egg fast. There's a ketogenic egg fast for 3 to 5 days. And because it's to simplify of like getting into this so it's not so shocking, or bone broth fast, because like to ease them into it. But of course I like taking difficult routes of like the stream of nothing, but fasting just intermittently for where you don't eat for 16 hours and then you have an 8-hour window, one meal a day. People call it OMAD, OMAD, one meal a day. That seems to have a lot of benefits, and that's a great intro as well, because then you're dialing back on the time frame that you're eating, and that's a good way to start. But then if you do something like an egg fast, then the next time you fast, do like a water fast for like three days.
So are you saying you're removing all water or removing all eggs, or you're saying you're predominantly having only water or
like
only eggs?
on the egg fast, it's just eggs. But
so you're feasting on eggs?
Yeah.
Okay.
And because when you switch to the ketogenic, your body's usually operating off of like carbohydrates and sugars, and you're switching it to fats. So
okay.
That's a good intro for somebody that's like, I'm still eating meat, I'm still eating gluten, but something's not right, and I want to start. It's a great intro to start.
Like their energy maybe not the best, or they've started to notice that they feel cloudy and things like that. If you want to try the keto, that's a good start, is the egg. Okay. Now, a water fast, that's where you're only having water again?
Yeah.
Okay. And then there's also that weird where you don't have any water. What's that called?
The dry fast.
Yeah, the dry fast.
The dry fast. And the things that happen to you when you fast, like you're increasing your brain function. The body begins to heal itself. It gets rid of all your bad cells first. So it's like, taking out the trash. We got to shedding. And that's important. And then, regenerating of stem cells. And 70% of your immune system is in your gut. So if you're feeding it sugar, it's inflaming it. So that's why
does that mean when you say 70% of your immune system, there's something in your gut that sends out the warnings to the brain or to the rest of the body to fight invaders or things in our bodies? Or when it's like the actual immune system, is it that's just a part of what we know of the gut? That it's responsible for, because we've been taught that it's your white blood cells is a big form of that. So I'm wondering, I guess I have to look into the mechanism of if it's affecting the white blood cell count somehow, or if that's all just a complete bogus lie on illness and body,
right?
At this point, because I haven't actually looked at white blood and red blood cells to know what they look like. But anyway, continue with
brain. But the gut and brain, there's been all kinds of research that indicates that like depression, anxiety is your gut. It's your gut is out of balance. So
you're affecting your mood and your ability to function and feel.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So the gut, it sends signals to the brain, like it speaks to the brain.
God,
the gut
I get
and
so
brain.
confused when it has trash all the time. Wow.
Yeah. So it's like, you have 4 kids, and 2 of the kids just are bad kids, and you only feed those ones, and condemn and love those ones, and the really good, it's just gonna throw what that doesn't make sense. We're only feeding our guts, our bodies, like really bad things that only feeds the bad bacteria and strengthens them. And so they, diversity, they love diversity. They love, I always say to eat the rainbow, I want your plate to look like a rainbow. And, So, but the gut biome controls the, your overall health, your weight, your heart health, your mood, and your immune system. So if that's off, everything's off.
Interesting. So when most people think about the gut and how it works, though, they're thinking about stomach acids and like you're going into your stomach and getting broken down, and then it goes into your large intestine or small intestine and is reabsorbed, and then in large intestine. But when it's in the small intestine, is it this absorption stage where they say most digestion takes place is when it's in the small intestine, that the nutrients aren't there aren't the right nutrients being absorbed into our bodies to
The
be able to
absorption.
function.
Mhm.
And so I always, when I hear gut health, I think of like your gut has all these powerful acids and all these things, but really, I mean, it breaks things down. And the rest of it is where now you have nothing left that survives it, because if there's an unhealthy parasite in your gut, it's not getting past even the point to get to the rest of your body, right? I mean, it's, if you think about it, like,
because they're stealing from you. Like the
yeah.
parasites are stealing from you all of your nutrients.
So what are some things that cause parasites?
Well, I mean, like where they like by
general.
eating certain. Well, it's in a lot of meat, like where you get it from. In a lot of meat, you eat fish. You know.
So how do you get rid of these types of parasites that are like meat driven? So this does not affect vegetarians at all, or is there different types of parasites that they're getting?
There's so many different kinds of parasites. I think parasites
we're gonna call this a parasitic.
What
What about wine parasites?
Oh gosh, I'm not sure. I
Good.
don't know.
Thank you. I want to have a sip of wine and say thank you and Thanksgiving. I'm sorry. Just because I'm getting nervous. I know we're going to talk about sugar, and I love strawberries and stuff. So here we go.
Yeah, there's a CAT scan or MRI. Look at a brain, and it'll show you compare it of like a brain on like amphetamine, cocaine, and you see it on the results of it lit up on sugar, and it's lighting up the same parts of the brain, and you're like, oh gosh, is that why it's so hard to quit sugar?
Yes,
and that's the thing about school systems too. Like it's really predominant of like eating it really sugar, you know.
But what does it do to the body? So it's going to make you obviously hyperactive and crave more of it. But you're also saying parasites feed off of this in general, or corn syrup and cane sugar, but maybe different parasites off of high fructose corn syrup than cane sugar types of parasites. I have no idea.
Right. That's why when my heart goes out for a lot of people who like want to stop drinking, or, you know, are alcoholics, or they want to stop drinking and then they stop, and then they get this overwhelming like drive to drink. And I'm trying to explain to them, like, look, that's the parasite releasing that fluid. I forget the name of the fluid, but it sends a signal to the brain, like demanding it, like, I need this and I need it now. And your body doesn't know, like, and you're not differentiating the difference between this is them demanding it, and this is not my overwhelming craving to do it. And then it's like, who's running who? And I think that's what's so empowering about doing a parasite cleanse is you're like, there's, you know, millions of like little kingdoms and microbes in your body.
You're taking back your body.
It's your kingdom, and you're like, no, I'm going to run this like an empire. Like,
do you want to share? I mean, is that your slideshow? Do you have things on the types of parasites or what they do, or is that more of an advanced?
Well, I was gonna in the beginning of the slideshow, I was gonna like show and explain the different parasites. I'm like, dude, it's Thanksgiving. And then to show, like, you know, and to frighten people, like, oh, this is inside you.
Well, no, I mean, if once you realize it's happening, you can't really freak out about it at this point. There's been so many like truths that are like,
I know, once you really see it too,
inside me. But then you think, okay, what will getting rid of these things do for my overall health and well-being? But maybe why not try it and just see how I feel? If we can find something safe and easy enough to do.
Of like looking at the like the close-ups and stuff is like, no wonder Howard Hughes was like a germaphobe. You're just like, oh God, once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Howie Mandel and probably Hughes, right? So you don't want to show it? We're gonna keep it censored. It is called Thanksgiving Purge, so people should be prepared for something a bit.
Because it's like, okay, what do you do
purging
about
parasites?
It?
Let's purge our parasites.
Let's purge it.
Let's get rid of it.
We want to thrive again.
Okay, so if you're gonna share this, let's see. I got it. This is my first time doing this, so I apologize. Think add to stream. Yes. All right. Now, are you able to navigate in there?
Yeah. Wait.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, success.
Okay. So we all have parents. How do we get rid of them? And that's just a little overview because it's Thanksgiving and I don't want to Okay. So what I recommend is a really good protocol, and it's simplified, is Dr. Hulda Clark. She really focused on parasites. She was like a parasitologist. And her son is now running her company. And it's these, you could take them and you do the paracleanse. And it's basically green black walnut tincture, wormwood, cloves, and the wormwood with the quassia bark. And this is what you do. So you get that. So you have like the 2 pills, and then you have the green black walnut tincture. And I love green black walnut tincture. It is absolutely amazing. It's antifungal. It gets rid of parasites. But I mean, it destroys certain cancer cells, helps with digestion. You literally get it and you get like a high off of it. You start, I don't know if it's because it's just what it does. It's amazing. And it's actually helped. There's people that the Amish is really big on using it for their teeth, and says it helps them grow, repair dental enamel. Like if you have any kind of tooth problems, to use it. And I think I put the
Interesting.
yeah.
Instead of fluoride, you can use black walnut.
There's some people that say like cancer is basically a fungus or the overgrowth of candida. And then but this is amazing. And okay, it's got it's got all kinds of stuff in it, melatonin, folate, and polyphenols. And yeah, so if you want to use it in your teeth, or if you're having like toothache, or it literally has helped people with a lot of.
It has numbing effects or anti-inflammatory then, if you're talking toothache.
I don't know if it's just the absorption of those ingredients that just neutralized it. I don't know.
Interesting.
So then they swish it around in their mouth, and it helps. So, and you can make your own. But like an overview to simplify the parasite cleanse, this is a good aid of aiding that, of like doing the parasite cleanse first. And you do it like 5 days on, 2 days off. 5 days on, 2 days off. So you do that for 2 weeks, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, because parasites go off of the moon. So they're intelligent, and we used to go off.
Parasites function off the moon. And are they then they're highly active during a full moon, or is that when what's the deal with that? Because I know
when they reproduce, like they'll reproduce more, and they go off it. And then when parasites know that they're dying, they send out a fluid to their kin of like reproduce, like, they know.
Yeah.
And so they'll duplicate. Yeah. So, but they're super in touch with the moon.
Up.
So doing it, I'm explaining it, like doing it, the 5 days on, 2 days off, the 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, like with the moon.
And this is with the walnut?
Yes, the green black walnut.
So that's really the basic way to start a parasite cleanse. And so here's the thing. You're not like selling your own personal green walnut to make a profit. And one thing I know is that I have a lot of friends that are tried products, are still using them, and they're like, you got to try this. You got to try this. It's almost like one of those schemes, the pyramid schemes of whatever. And I'm like, what elements are in these things? Let me look. Like there's been a number of them. I don't want to say the names, but you might have seen it on Facebook or wherever. But this is great because it's not like you're trying to make a profit. You're just explaining what you've used to.
Yeah, I only like to recommend.
So what are some of the things that you've noticed then when you started this? Is there anything people need to be ready for after 5 days of, and how much are they have to ingest? Is it like a whole, do I need like a huge glass of it, or is it just a couple tinctures? Sorry.
There's certain people that, they're passionate about this, and they know they're ish. So they'll do, they'll literally do a cleanse before. And like down there, like they'll do like a what do you call it?
Colonic?
And yes.
those things where you get your innards sucked, so it's empty. You do it so you do that even before you do the
Yeah,
parasite cleanse, because
there's
there's
people
that
that do
many
it before.
parasites. So like I can't just start with the parasites and be done with them. I have to get a colonic. Is this true?
That's
Do
next
they have
level. That's
Groupon
next level.
specials for that? Because it sounds expensive, but I would prefer to start with the walnut,
Yes.
dark
Okay.
walnut.
Okay.
And is
I
that like,
agree.
yeah, how big can I mix it with something that tastes good? What? Tell me more
So
about that.
it's really not that bad, and you
Okay.
can it's not at all. In
Is it
fact,
like
and then the way
dark
you feel.
chocolate is to like walnuts? It's like a walnut, but a little bit more like dry. Sorry, continue.
So you drink it, and then
Okay.
and you could even swish it around in your mouth for the added benefits of what it does for your teeth, and then drink it. And you could put it does a lot of skin, like it's cured a lot of skin situations as well, just rubbing it on your skin or an astringent. um
Really? Hold on. So
yeah,
it can clean your teeth, but
dude, I'm
also
telling you, this is
put it on
amazing.
your
What is my
skin. Wouldn't it like clean your skin and be painful? No. So this is to kill parasites. And colloidal silver, what's all the hype with that then? Is that not killing anything? I know it was like bacterial. Is that different? It has it. Do you know anything about that?
Well, that's
I,
yeah, that's all. That's kind of like its own rabbit hole, because there's
okay.
some, yeah,
It must
because
be different things in the gut. Maybe like Monsanto stuff you've eaten can be combated by having some colloidal silver, whereas we're talking more about these parasites that are kind of controlling your mind and your energy levels and your response to the moon cycles and whatnot.
and so like
Possibly.
doing a parasite cleanse and then a candida cleanse, and then like a kidney cleanse, like liver
So what's
flush,
the
and then
candida
heavy metal.
cleanse? That heavy metal
So,
after. Okay.
yeah,
Gotcha.
and it's just to to maximize everything, because so this is like really getting to the root of it, and I think it's a great intro, because then
Okay.
and then with how you feel, like how good you improve with things, and you're like, oh my gosh, I feel better. Oh,
I'm
it's like
detoxed
opening.
in this
Yes,
area. Yep.
I'm, my energy levels are up. I'm more active. I'm more focused. And you're more connected to with your higher power. You're way more connected.
Right. So you have the basics of the start with that is the black walnut liquid that you're saying you drink. And
Hmm.
did you drink it morning and night, or is it one time a day that when you did it or do it?
Yeah, you take in the nighttime. Well, they say that parasites are most active like when you're laying down, like midnight to 3 a.m. So
Okay.
yeah, to take it at night. And then the other one I have is the turpentine. That's the next route. Okay, but this is like if you have
Mm.
any of the following, like
Sounds
your
dangerous. What is
oh,
turpentine
the
usually used for?
turpentine
Isn't
is
that to clean like some? Hold on.
the
Turpentine.
turpentine is crazy. But you could put it in a capsule, but you take it with sugar.
What?
And I know, stack
Ancient.
3 sugar cubes on top of each other,
We're
and
gonna
you
get
drop
canceled.
1 teaspoon of the
Turpentine.
turpentine, and you saturate it, and
Okay.
you chew and you swallow the cubes, and it's the sugar. It's almost it's
Have you
very
done this
military.
one?
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. So did you do
Yeah,
this? And how
yeah.
long? Like how many times or how long ago did you do that? You did it?
I
Like
did it. I did this one, and but this isn't. That's why I'm recommending the
my
Hulda
mouth is
Clark
like.
one, because
So
the Hulda Clark one, the green black walnut is like perfect to start with. This is next. This is there's
that's next
people.
level. So there's a way this goes to like getting going clear. It's almost like Scientology, but in a different way. It's free and it's biologically, and you're gonna go clear through your body and I get it. It's interesting, and turpentine has become something that they use it. Don't even know. I just know that it's like a known toxin of some sort, or we're taught that it is. I can't remember. Isn't it like lights and like What is turpentine used for? Should I panel the audience? Like, here we go. This is what it's supposed to be used for. Anyway, allegedly.
The wood industry. It's like at the hardware store.
It covers like wood, like to make it shiny. No?
Yeah. And, it's an ancient method. Like it was used in the olden days.
To draw parasites out of your body. Totally believe it. That makes sense.
There was a bunch of videos on YouTube.
I'm not advising that on this channel yet. I'm just saying I could understand why that would get rid of any type of parasites in the body, depending on what you were,
And you could put it in like little capsules and then, take it.
Interesting.
But there's people that have videos on YouTube of what they pull out with the turpentine. Like I can understand why people would want to do this method.
Is that the thing I saw on Facebook where it showed something bad that came out of the person's body? I was like, no.
Like,
oh my God.
There's all these videos of what they pull out and how long it is. And it's crazy.
Another picture. You could have sold me with another picture. I don't know if I can handle that, but I get that,
But this is more like I could see why there's people that prefer this method because they're like, listen, I don't want to take the green black walnut, and do that for, or do that for 90 days. And
why does it feel every day you're pulling out different stuff or what?
But the turpentine really
it's a one-time mega.
Do it for like 7 days, in less than a week. They're just like, bam, get in, get out. And
but like this is slow to do it 5 days. It's one glass at 1 o'clock in the morning. Is it so you can't sleep, or do you just die and is it totally painful for the whole day? You're out of commission.
So the Dr. Hulda Clark, the green black walnut tincture with the cloves and the wormwood, that you get like high from it. Like we're taught that. I mean, maybe it's just
don't plan on going to work. Sorry.
No, you could totally go to work. So
okay.
We have this assumption, which I used to have as well, of we're taught that like, oh God, like a cleanse. Oh my God, I'm going to be immobile. I'm going to feel terrible, but it's not like that at all. It's just the opposite. Like where you're invigorated and it propels you. And that's what I want people to know as well, because we're taught, like we have this belief where we think, oh, this is going to suck. Like, I don't want to go through this. I'm going to be immobile. We literally look at it as like, this is going to floor me and we're going to be like laying down sick. Like, oh God, or constantly running to the bathroom. Dude, it's not like that, like at all.
Because I was thinking parasites are not like, it's not like the same as taking a laxative because it's a parasite. Yeah, you're going to probably get rid of all the food. And if you do a cleanse beforehand and you don't go into it after eating at McDonald's or Burger King, you'll probably have a better experience when you're doing it, because it's really trying to get at the parasites, which is what's stuck behind after the food, I would think, has passed. And it's like latched onto, the insides of your gut and everything. So that makes sense. But you drink the glass. When do you start to feel the positive effects? And is it like, I don't know if you told me how much, like, do you drink like a shot glass size, or is it like 12 ounces of this green walnut?
It's 8 ounces. Like you put like 2 tablespoons and like 8 ounces of water, and you just pound the water.
Okay, cool. So that seems simple enough. And that is for that. And the other one was the turpentine for the parasite. And then there's the one for the candida. Are you going to be able to go into that? Or are you going to keep this type of parasite? Because there's more than one way to skin a cat. It seems like there's more than one way to get rid of the parasite.
So this was her protocol of look, 2 to 3 drops with the teaspoon of sugar, and this kind of breaks it down, like 1 quart of water for each 60 pounds of body weight. And then more directions of then castor oil, 3 to 6 tablespoons once a week, or 1 bottle of magnesium citrate, and then water enemas are helpful the week before. That sounds
better than castor oil. Oh my God.
And then the recommendation of B complex, because of taking B12 and shilajit, because as your body is cleansing this stuff, it's getting rid of a lot more.
So then how do you avoid the buildup of these things again? so you don't have to continuously detox. I get it. If you want to do this
You're
once in a while,
yeah, like every 6 months. I recommend like doing one just every 6 months, twice a year.
regardless if you eat like meat or not, or more often if you're eating meat or things that are causing high level of parasitosis. I don't know what you call it.
I recommend it. I mean, I recommend, gosh, if you're in between doing like liver flushes and, but like always keeping it moving, our lymph system is what gets rid of, all that helps get rid of all the toxins as well. And doing exercises that help your move your lymphatic system is key.
Is that some of the face rubs and stuff like that, and different rubs on areas of the bodies?
Like a lot of like high intensity workout or like trampoline, like like trampoline, like high impact to get, because you want to, jump rope is really good, like really, really good, because you want to get the lymph moving. You want to help it get it moving. There's lymphatic cleanser drops really help a lot. Like there's a lot of women take it like after their
what's that called? What was it?
The lymphatic cleanser. There's like burdock root in it, and you take the drops, and there's a lot of women that will have liposuction, and then they take it and they're like, wow, I wish I would have known about this before lipo. Like I wouldn't have gotten lipo, because it
really a lymphatic cleanse. So people that are having issues with losing fat maybe need to do a lymph cleanse, because they could have a blocker in the hormones that are being released that help them metabolize fat. Essentially, that's a parasite that's in your lymph system. Is it parasite related, or is that more heavy metal related, or?
I don't know, because like the parasites throw off your minerals and your nutrients, which throws off your hormones. So it's like to really,
like biology would make sense if it functioned this way. I'm a health teacher, so it's just like mind-boggling when you hear it this way. It's also like computer related. It just and energy related, everything. The things that go together and work well.
Well, when you look at the realm of like, look, we have our government, our corporations. It's very parasitic, of how do we get rid of it? Like collectively, it's what's happening in our bodies is happening around us in the world. And so, okay, guys, what do we do? Okay. And I always say, if you want to heal the world, it starts at home in your backyard with yourself. And when you heal yourself, your body, and then it ripples to your family, your loved ones, your community, and it ripples out. So it's like, like you have a problem with government. Well, how are you governing yourself, your body? What are you putting into it? You're the queen, the king of your empire. What are you doing? How are you running it?
That's interesting, because I never thought about that until I had kids. I cared about what kind of went into my body, but especially what went into theirs. And that's how I first, as a health teacher, questioned the food pyramid and the kind of the guidelines, and started looking into food. And it was the maple syrup on pancakes. I was looking to see the ingredients because I was redoing my nutrition unit, and I got to the ingredients, and it was like high fructose corn syrup. And I was like, there's nothing from like a maple tree in here. There's no like sap. I was like, oh my gosh, they're flavoring corn syrup to taste like things. I'm like, get the ketchup. I was like, got the ketchup. I'm like, high fructose corn syrup. It's like, oh my gosh, it's all flavored sugar. And so then I was like, my children are not going to eat things that are just flavored sugar. But then there's also some reservations with cane sugar and organics. I get it. I'm not saying it's the fix all end all, but if you're going to have like, you want to have ketchup or something, it's better to have tomatoes than just syrup that tastes like tomatoes, if you can make it that way. Or, and to have like actual syrup, but maple syrup, again, high in sugar. And what does that do to the body? Are we supposed to be eating it? Because, is the corn syrup going to be worse than the maple syrup, or does it matter with sugar? Is my other question. Obviously, glyphosate and Monsanto spraying corn and then using that corn, whatever, in the process of making sugar is not good. But cane sugar that's organic, or whatever they say, it has doesn't have glyphosate, does things to the parasites, or just does it has that addictive effect?
Feeds
So we
and
eat more of it?
strengthens them, right? It feeds and strengthens them, and it also
Why wouldn't parasites want freaking sugar? Come on, why can't they like hate it? Would that be sweet if
I
sugar
know.
parasites? It'd be like, I hate that, and you could just eat like anything.
And
But
it's and the addiction of it and what it does, like I said earlier,
that's your
about it
mind and
lighting
your
up certain up parts of your brain that amphetamine is lit up
okay.
and cocaine is lit up, so it has that effect. But I
Mhm.
also happen to believe that, the cane sugar mixed with the heavy metals does stuff to our DNA that we're not taught about, that I can't show you on a screen. This is what it does. But
Interesting.
it's almost
In-
like well, there's a whole nother realm of it too, of like what it
Can I
is.
ask before we get to the other realm, real quick? In general, so you hear people passing out and diabetes and everything, and like low blood sugar. I ran a half marathon, and I was like, and I drank one of those like syrup things because I was gonna die, or I felt like I was gonna die. So, is there a time when we need certain types of sugar, or is there a replacement we can have if you're doing like a sugar cleanse or whatever? You're not fasting from sugar, or you are not having sugar at all in your diet. What happens then? Do you get a low blood sugar impact, or is it like a high, or you know, what
Well,
is your
I
experience?
mean, it's like saying when you're going into a fast, like, do you stop? When you're craving it, what do you do? Like when you have that overwhelming, and it actually helps. Like fasting actually helps with your blood sugar control, and so.
Okay, so you need less of it to maintain a normal blood
And
sugar.
remember too, like switching over, like when people go into ketogenic, they're switching over from sugar. Your body's operating off of that, and so it's going to want to go to that fuel
Mhm.
first. So then, when you're training it to go off of fats or go off of nothing, it's going to, it's like, is that what that feeling is? Because it's demanding it.
But so, how much sugar then do you cut? Is it a fast from it, or then is it every day you're making sure you don't have things that have any sugar during the
Right.
fast, and then the rest of your life, are you allowed sugar ever, or do you never have it? And do you ever? How do you replace that? Do you have to
Now,
replace it with something?
some people will implement it back in, and some people will go on really strict, like where it took them 2 years to get rid of candida, and then they went on like a candida, they finally limited candida, but then 90 days after they stopped, they started eating some of the old foods that they used to eat, and it brought it back.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
yeah,
Interesting.
so some people will do things of like
So sugar is
implementing just
directly
natural
related to the
sugars.
candida.
Yeah.
Is okay. That's important. I don't know if we mentioned that off the get go because I'm trying to like think about parasites feeding off of things. Candida is the parasite that the sugars feed that they thrive off of. Is that how that works, or
Yeah, is candida a parasite?
yeah, is that a like is everything a parasite? Do we still have bacteria and viruses, or is it all parasites in disguise that are like, I'm
Right?
really candida. This is a thing, and you have to take this to get rid of it, or whatever. But no, maybe that's not even a thing anymore. I was I don't know what's happening. So um yeah, that's interesting that sugar has that impact. And is it all kinds of sugar that they're studying? Does it matter? You said cane sugar specifically in some of the studies they're
Well,
looking
cane
at.
sugar. Well, yeah, and then what? High fructose corn syrup. It's just basically anything other than the like fruits is not good.
But even fruits can have I do remember I was told like don't eat so many strawberries when I was pregnant. I was like, "What? You can't have strawberries like the size of your fist?" And I was like, "Really?" That's, like, sad, but at the same time, I'm sure it was for, like, gestational diabetes, which might just be, like, parasites messing with our bodies that we could yeah, you know what I mean? That's what I wonder now about a lot of things that are chronic that have to do with diet that could be reset maybe. I know there's type 1 and type 2 diabetes and done anyway, I just wonder about blood sugar. So what do you, now that you've, did you used to eat a lot of sugar ever in your life, or have you been a fan like of sugar?
Oh, dude, I loved sugar. I mean, not only that, but my family, like who and what my family is, like, um, my father is a baker. I don't know if you Galasso Bakery. It's a really big Italian bakery, and
I eat some food from
so
there.
being like, oh, gluten's bad. My family's mortified. Like, what? Like, I was talking to my dad in 2001. Like, look, I was trying to have like a really serious conversation with him of like, look, you need to have flourless bread. You should have seen the look on his face of like,
Yikes.
what?
Wow.
Mortified. So, yeah. And which is interesting too, because Thanksgiving, we always have like a pie contest.
Mhm.
And I won finally like 3 years ago, but it was just satisfaction for me because I love the challenge of like, you're telling me I can't have sugar. That like I went on like baking rampages of like, dude, I want to be able to have cookies. I want to be able to have these desserts, but not with sugar in it. So I looked at it as like a challenge. So I came up with all these recipes and wanted, because I love those things, I
Mhm.
love them. And using like almond flour and stuff. But I finally won the pie contest 3 years ago, and I made like instead of sugar, if you want the ultimate solution, you can thank me later. It's a gift that keeps on giving, is monk fruit.
Monk
It's
fruit instead of
yeah,
sugar. I got to write that down somewhere. So monk
monk
fruit
fruit.
instead
It's
of sugar.
1-to-1 ratio.
Huh.
Okay. And it's literally like when you have something and your soul resonates with it and it like improves your life so much that you're like, this
Mhm.
is everything. Like it was like that when I had monk fruit. And then I
Really?
was like, I have to, I have to create with this. And it
Yeah.
was amazing. So I made the pie crust and I made everything. I made this amazing pie, and it had monk fruit in it. And so to bring it to my family and then to win the pie contest, and my family is very, very competitive.
Mhm.
So the fact that, and they get annoyed by like, oh God, Julia and her sugar, like we don't want to hear it. So the fact that I won was like huge accolades for me of like, yes, you
Yay.
guys loved it and there was no sugar in it, so.
That's awesome. So there are substitutes. There is hope for people that like sugar.
Yeah, I
So I think,
wouldn't mess with anything like all the other sugar substitute. I can't handle
okay.
it. It grosses me out. Even stuff made with it, I'm like, I can't hang.
Okay. So I have a few more questions, several, but I do want you to also come back so we can talk about sugar substitutes and recipes, like easy things for people that need sugar still, because that's important. That speaks directly to me. And that's one of my fears when I was like, okay, I'm going to talk to Julia. She said something about sugar and even cane sugar. And I don't know if I can handle hearing that because I find things that I like and it's not a huge amount, but I know it's not good to have sugar necessarily, and even cane sugar, whatever else. So finding something that can kind of replace that. I do like dark chocolate, which has the lowest amounts of what
That's amazing. You know what I do? My go-to thing is like what I love is I will freeze blueberries and
blueberries are okay.
yeah, I'll freeze blueberries. Well, like when I'm doing I'm not supposed to have it like when I'm doing like the cleansing part of
Mhm.
it, but I'll freeze blueberries and I'll have dark chocolate with some almonds and then I freeze
Yeah.
blueberries and eat them. But when you freeze I was intuitively doing that and then I met this doctor and he's like, "Well, you're smart because when you freeze blueberries, it amplifies the polyphenols."
Huh.
So I was like, way to go, because I'm addicted to eating frozen blueberries. So now,
Really? So they
yeah,
always say frozen and whatnot is not good sometimes, or it changes like the freshness of vegetables, I think, or I don't even know what it is, but it can be better for you to eat something frozen. That's an interesting concept that I've never considered
I just
either.
saw a video the other
I still
day of
like ice
like
cream.
somebody saying of a somebody that froze a avocado, and then they were like tired of your avocados going bad, and then like freezing it, and then showing you to like leave it out, and then like peel it, and it was like, how come I never thought of this before?
Freezing it so it doesn't get brown if you freeze an avocado?
And
That
then
should
they
be
were
the title
showing
of this video. That's the most helpful thing for every one that likes avocados. Or they're all like, how did you not know you're supposed to freeze avocados, Brittany and Julia? And everybody already knew that.
I know.
Really? So it comes out and it tastes just fine.
Yeah, well, I haven't tried one yet, but I'm going to try it.
Flip. All right. By the next time we do a show, we'll both have to try that and be like, yep, it worked. You film it. Prove it. Let's prove the science to freezing the avocado, and then we can come back and speak to it. That would be good. Because, wow, I like that idea. And guac, I'm guessing, too. If it's a mix and a combination, it stays fresher. Like most things, fresher longer, but in the freezer. Cool. But I wonder what it does. Does that challenge the integrity of the avocado, or does it help it? Does it produce more of the why do you say that? Polyphenols? Polyphenols. And what do those do exactly? So those are going to help you. Are those like warriors against the parasites, or are they builders of your own?
It helps cleanse your liver, and it's an antioxidant, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So it's a booster of your what?
And it's good, like too. I think it's good. Blueberries are good for your eyes, and it just the purples. Oh, I forget what the purple foods are good for, but it's
But when you freeze them, it multiplies. Is what you're saying?
Right. I didn't read like the research on it, but
I need to look into that. That's fascinating. This is what happens to me. Then I look into soil and all this other stuff after. No, but I will look into some of this. And
did you say soil? Oh my gosh!
I'm just saying that's like the most boring.
I love looking into.
I went into soil studies, and it was crop circles. I was like, I wonder if it's coming from below and what the soil samples give away around these crop circles. And then it was volcanoes and soil around volcanoes, and that all went crazy, but started with pancake syrup, all right, and nutrition, and trying to kind of modify. So it's good to know.
Well, I think you too. When you don't know sugar, when you look at everything, you start to see like this is a plot. When you read the ingredients of everything, and you start to see like I'm set up for failure. Like this is in everything, and then you start to really connect it of why is it in everything? Why is it so hard to start, to find things without sugar in it?
Yeah, for real. Because I always started to look for cane sugar after I got into like, I'm staying away from anything Montano and high fructose corn syrup and only eating natural. But then it's like, okay, I have to monitor how much sugar I'm still having, obviously. And I can tell like after certain holidays when there's a lot more sugar around, I'm like, okay, I'll eat it in spurts, and because I'll buy like the organic candy. It'll be just to snack on. But then as the holidays have faded and I'm not eating sugar as much, I'm like, okay, now my body doesn't feel like it needs it. When it's not there, I'm not buying it, but when it's there, it's like, so it's just that it has that kind of addictive, the addictive properties to it. And then to think about like withdrawing from sugar and what it does to your fatigue level and your mood and everything else, just like if it was nicotine or alcohol withdrawals kind of, but with energy too. So definitely good to know about sugar. What about
actually anti-parasitic? Tobacco.
What's that?
Tobacco.
Oh, tobacco is anti-parasitic?
Yeah, tobacco.
So could you like eat tobacco leaves and that like one of your cleanses or something, like swallow it or something? I'm not advising that, but interesting.
And it's a nootropic. Tobacco is a nootropic.
And I taught the opposite on that too, right? I think, it's probably better to get it in natural ways or whatever that is now. I had one more question I was going to ask about diet. Oh, yeah. So your diet now, do you eat a lot of meats, or are you vegetarian? What have you discovered works best for you?
I'm a pescatarian. If it was good enough for Jesus, it's good enough for me.
All right.
But yeah, so a pescatarian is you eat fish. You have fish and
fish and other crustaceans, or only fish?
No, like any sea,
any sea, creatures. Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I do. But yeah, it comes to a point of like, well, what can we eat, right?
But also, where are you eating your fish from? Are they raised in an environment where there wasn't like toxins? Are you checking on that? Does that impact?
Well, farmers market is obviously, it's always best to eat local. Like even your honey, it's important to eat local. And I live right by a farmer's market.
Nice.
But it's really expensive. like really expensive.
Same. Well, in the Midwest, it's like winter, so now to get any type of seasonal fruit is it's exported, essentially, or imported from out of either country or from a lot of things come from California, I guess, but they charge an arm and a leg here to have it. So, but yeah, so farmers market and fish. So, what are some positive changes that have impacted you since you've started doing cleanses, and how often are you kind of doing them?
So I went on a well, I happened to do like this year I went really hard on cleansing, and I even did the food grade hydrogen peroxide cleanse. I did like a gallbladder and a liver
What's
flush.
a food grade hydrogen peroxide cleanser? Like drinking peroxide?
Yeah, it's food. It's a really potent of hydrogen peroxide that you dilute, and you work your way up in the. There's people that say it's cured their cancer. There's all kind. There's people that say it got rid of their candida. Like it's
Why won't they tell us that? Because they don't want the peroxide companies to profit. You see it and you put it on something, and it's like there's magical things seemingly happening.
And then get this like overwhelming energy because it's like giving oxygen to your cells. So it's like my workouts were like intense. So they
how long ago did you do that one, the peroxide cleanse?
You work your way up to the drops, and I did it from in January. I think I did it for like 4 months.
And slowly worked your way up to
yeah.
And then when you're done, are you done, or is it something forever?
Then I moved on to the next one. Like it's then I went to the gallbladder and liver flush. And that is really invigorating. Andreas Moritz has a amazing liver and gallbladder flush protocol. Andreas Moritz, Moritz.
Okay. I could be looking this up. I'm not ready to do that. I just said when I get a little more seasoned, I'm like, man, Andreas would be nice to have to be going and searching everything you say, but then I don't know, there'd be interjection possibly. Okay, oh, he's listening, I hear. So anyway, that's I don't know, a good starting place. But you're all the way to liver. You're just on the liver cleanse or on gallbladder.
So now I just started a parasite cleanse 2 weeks ago. Wait, so I took 2 weeks off. So Monday I'm back on again.
Okay.
So I
parasite cleanse.
Yeah.
So you go 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off with parasite cleanses now with the walnut or with the
with the walnut. Yeah, I'm doing the turpentine's next level. I got to do that and like.
Don't do that. Like I don't know about doing that regularly, like every 2 weeks on and off. And if people have studied that,
don't do that. No, that's a quick, short stint. Like you don't want to. Yeah,
it's like the shock. That's like the starting when like psychedelics. You go right to ayahuasca with it. Whoa, kind of thing. Maybe anyway for comparing. So there's different ways to homeopathically detox our bodies and each one of our main organs that we need to kind of go clear and revive ourselves till we get back to the most basic control of our senses and our functions in our body is what you're saying. But it's good to start with the gut cleanse, which is that, again, the green, black walnut liquid. And
and then things of what to eat, like what I recommend is eating foods that don't create mucus, like that there's foods that create mucus, like which is dairy, meat, cheese, fast food.
No cheese.
I know.
What if it's like lactose free? Is it the lactose in dairy that's creating the mucus?
Dairy sends out a thing to your immune system that says, Mayday, something's wrong.
Like, so why do babies need it when they're developing breast milk? Is that still legit?
Breast milk's differently. Yeah, that's different than like cow's milk.
That's just like the special thing. Oh yeah, obviously different than cow's milk. So yeah, it's always going to create mucus because it's our body's natural response to something we're not supposed to have because it comes from a cow. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Totally.
Yeah,
Kind of
so
like
like deep fried food, like cereal, alcohol, soy products, deep fried foods, bread, like all
cereal,
that
like
creates mucus.
because of the like glyphosate that's sprayed on typically on wheat, or cereal because we're
Well,
not supposed to be eating that type
well,
of
cereal's
grain.
got like all kinds of bad stuff. The worst things you can ingest is soda and cereal. I think those are the top two worst things you
Yeah,
can
I'm so
eat.
glad I never was allowed to drink soda growing up. Oh my gosh, my parents were like stingy on that, and I'm like, sweet. My kids like
What
barely.
would you drink growing up?
Oh, water, and then like there once in a while we had that carefree care. What was it called? Some type of Kool-Aid in a packet. Something. Can't remember what it's called. What's it called? It's like the lemonade that was really popular. I keep wanting to say like caress, but that's like the
Capri
shaving.
Sun?
No,
Oh,
it was these powder packets. Maybe I'll think of it. It's not important, but once in a while it was that. But it was just mostly water. But it was probably fluoridated, so I mean that probably wasn't the best alternative either. I'm trying to think, but not juice either. Just we weren't as kids allowed to have. Never had Kool-Aid. I did like Kool-Aid stand, but it was sugar-free Kool-Aid, which I'm sure was just with some crazy chemical they put in instead of sugar at that time because it tasted just like the Purple Source Rex. I'm like, this is a sugar-free. I can't even tell. And I would just guzzle it because we never got to have that. But I'm thankful now, and my kids do not have soda very often. And if they do, it's like the kind with cane sugar, which may not even matter at this point. But once in a great while. Is there anything with turkey that has like a special extra parasite or these holiday foods? I'm worried now. There's something I know it has something that makes us sleepy. What's that?
yeah.
The chemical that people get. What's that called? I should look it up. It's very basic. Hold on. Tryptophan. Tryptophan. That's in turkey, and it supposedly makes you feel sleepy.
Ooh, that's really important too, is the aminos, taking aminos. Like there's like what, 17 essential aminos that your body needs.
Is there like
And
one supplement that covers a lot of them, or do you have to?
yeah, Kion, I recommend that one.
Kion.
Um, yeah,
Sweet. So I'm gonna go
Kion.
through this video and I'm gonna put like in the timestamps all this and
Okay.
kind of highlight a like the how to detox, whatever, what to start with, and possibly in the description or link it to like the Discord where we'll have this all mapped out for people because it's really helpful. There's a lot of things I could definitely try to implement that I haven't before. And now I know like I won't fall over from low blood sugar and I can still have like blueberries and is there anything else that people can have for like that
Oh,
sweet or for
so
energy?
that are sweet. So, well, initially when you're doing this, you're gonna want to like when you're gonna want to eliminate all that because you're healing your
Mhm,
gut and
mhm.
sugar inflames it. So I recommend going like no sugar on anything
Okay.
for while you do the cleanse.
But if you have to go back then, when
If
you're
you
done
have to
with the
go
cleanse,
back, dark
what are
chocolate.
some choices? Just dark
Yeah,
chocolate, have like a piece every few days or like set it up to
it's the
whatever?
amount. So the amount of it, and I mean, that's how I prefer to get my magnesium. Like I want it in my chocolate, but yeah,
What about
dark chocolate.
coffee and tea then for other like
Well, coffee
vices?
strains your adrenals. So if you really want caffeine, you should go like theacrine, which is a green tea extract.
What's it called again? Be it
Theacrine,
oh, the theacrine, theacrine.
Theacrine.
Okay.
And so if you want
Without
that,
cane sugar, like not the tea that I have that says natural caffeine and cane sugar. Just have like a straight up tea that I kind of
yeah,
sift.
yeah, well, and yeah, green tea. Like if I'm just saying, if you want the caffeine and you want that, I would go green tea because,
Because they have like
yeah,
sugar free. I'm trying to find something, but I think I'll just have to brew everything myself that I have to drink essentially, um, or find places that have it that aren't because I'm trying to like get healthy and go clear and not have fluoridated water. But if I go to the co-op, I don't know that my co-op has a well. I don't if they're using city water and they have organic ingredients or like great tea quality. Now I'm drinking it with fluoridated water. I don't really want that, but I want to have the tea, which they sell there. So it's good to know that stuff too. So I might be messaging you for details again on some of this to get the perfected list on what we can get because when you go
So
to the store, there's so many choices of things that you're just
yeah,
like,
and then it gets sometimes the things that are the alternatives isn't good either. So it's like use oh gosh, that's why it helps to, have somebody break it down or and to help you. But mucus eliminating foods, green vegetables. Like what you could do is you could drink them.
mm-hmm.
Like you could get your greens and take shots of your greens. That helps a lot. It helps out with like your happiness level too.
Energy too, you're
Yeah.
saying? So instead of
Uh-huh.
having like a salad at night or whatever for lunch, like in the morning, just have some shots of greens that you've ground up
Yeah,
or
shots
something or
of
in the
greens, and
blender.
then a lot
Like
of
lettuce, what kind of greens? Kale? What are you saying? Spinach?
collards,
Your collard greens.
asparagus. There's actually a thing in
Hmm.
asparagus that releases makes you happy. It releases a happy hormone. I don't know the
Really?
name of it. Yeah,
Really?
asparagus
How
makes
about
you
that for
freaking
breakfast?
happy.
Let's make an asparagus tea that tastes really good with your sugar thing. What's it called? Your sugar replacement again.
Monk fruit.
Yeah, monk fruit. Can we like something that has like monk fruit and like asparagus, like a morning tea somehow that we can
Yeah.
mix?
Oh my gosh,
Just
I made the
something.
most amazing teriyaki sauce with
Hmm.
brown with alternative brown sugar
What's
and
that? Alternate?
monk
They have
fruit. Yeah, it's called Swerve. You got to get your Swerve on.
swerve.
It's called
I want
Swerve. I
swerve.
almost cried when I saw it ready. I was like, "Oh my gosh,
And
this is
alternative
amazing!"
to brown sugar.
Brown
So I
sugar.
there's another thing we can do for sweetness. So what is it made out of? Like a
Yes,
plant
I could
that
look. I
doesn't
have some
affect
in
us?
my
Okay.
kitchen.
Oh, well,
Uh,
that's cool. We could do a whole special on
but
swerve.
Swerve, but baking of it when I put it on because I it does when you heat up the brown sugar, it gets a little tricky. You got to really toy with
Hmm.
the recipe because of the way it bakes. So the when you get it to a certain temperature.
Cool. So you can help bypass all that. We
That's
got
what
to
I
do
mean.
that.
So this is what I mean by like this is what we educate people on. We need to get
Yeah,
people aware of like,
I
hey, we
need
need you to
this.
come up with some
I'm
pancake mix that
ordering
doesn't have this and
swerve
this in
as we
it.
speak. Swerve. Order
Swerve.
swerve.
Get
Swerve.
your
So is it
swerve on.
SWARVE or
It's
E?
SWERVE.
Swerve.
Swerve. Get your swerve
Swerve.
on.
I love it. That can be our. Maybe they'll give us ads, and we can have them be our promoters. I'm just
Yes,
kidding,
I know,
but
right? I'm totally
I want to cook
endorsing.
with that. Because I finally cooked this year. I made my first like pumpkin pie from scratch because I wanted to get all organic ingredients. And so I got like pumpkin spice and evaporated milk and cane sugar and brown organic cane sugar, organic brown sugar, organic vanilla, and made the whole thing and organic whipped cream. But it's still not right. I just gave myself a bunch of possibilities of having crazy parasites that I don't want. So I'm gonna go order some
Monk
walnut
fruit
stuff.
baking with
Monk
making
fruit and
monk fruit
swerve, and we're
and
gonna
swerve.
get some recipes. So next time
Yeah.
we talk, I want to have some actual recipes that you can help me write down, and we can even make it a cooking show with Julia,
Ooh.
and follow you around cooking in the kitchen. If you can we'll get you a camera. I could send you a camera too, if that would work for that. But that'd be sweet because I would love to be able to learn without being intimidated. And it's like I go to the co-op even, and I'm like, there's 1,000 spices, and there's 1,000 flavors and seasonings, and there's 1,000 different types of sugars, maybe like 10 different types of sugars, 10 different types of salts that I'm just like, this one looks good. Which one's the healthiest? Which one's kind of the best? And also with vegetables, what tastes good? Help people get through that. That'd be fantastic.
So that's what it's like, Brittany, you don't have to give up. I think that's the best message of like, look, just because it's no sugar doesn't mean you can't have the stuff that you love. We just got to tweak it a little bit. We just
Hmm.
got to tweak it, and then we're stoked.
I think, yeah. Oh, there we go. Zoom. There's another angle. Okay. Of the camera. Sorry. Um, that's so close up. I'll go back for now. Anyway, we've gone for an hour, I think. And I was either going to do an hour or 2 hours. I don't know. I feel like that's a lot of information if we're
Yeah.
talking,
You
with
crammed it
that,
in. Yeah.
which is good because it was also basic. And then we can come back even tomorrow, possibly night, and talk about the other two types of sugar. And then I can actually share recipes and be more comfortable in my actual screen sharing capacities and my
Woo!
Google ability. Should we count that as a good
Yeah.
Thanksgiving festival or okay?
Yeah.
And then
It's
we can
great
find
first.
you on Instagram
It's
and
Holly Julia's HALLEJULIAS.
okay. And I'll get that put in the description as well. Once I have this all aired. I don't have any outro music, unfortunately. And next time I'll have an actual intro. I just took the recent Tartarians because
Awesome. You
I
did
wanted something that
amazing.
makes me come back. You're great. I can't wait till you come back. I'm going
Woo!
to end the broadcast now. Thank you if you tuned in. I think there's like one person here, maybe two, maybe. I didn't even look at the YouTube, but I'm going to bring Julia. We're going to do some more stuff and hopefully branch out and talk about lots of other stuff, mental health, and go beyond diet into just even some parenting stuff at some point. We'll see. Because it's a messed up world and it's hard to know what to tell our kids, our friends, our family without having them worry about us. So we're also here to kind of help people understand that maybe it's okay to try things that are different that the doctors aren't really recommending with diet because we have people that are going through it, trying it out. I'm going to now try some of the stuff Julia says. I'm going to order that walnut stuff. And I'll have a link to something there. You might know the best places to buy that from. And I'll start a little bit on myself and let you know how I feel.
Woo,
And we can
awesome.
get back to you.
I know
All righty.
I want updates. Okay.
Okay, cool. And make sure you do it safe. And yeah, always do your own research. Okay, peace out. Much love.